Hey guys, it's Friday. Time for a new video. It's starting to get old to me too, saying that. But anyways, um, so yeah, this is one of the models that I built this week, the '69 Plymouth GTX. If you go back in my archives of videos, you'll see the beginning of this year. I posted up a video on this model kit as well as the Ford Record. And I gave a little story about the two models. And this particular one, I'm hoping to get both built before this year's out. But I have to be in the mood. I have to be in the mood to build uh, specific types of kits. If I'm not in the mood for it, I don't build it. But anyway, so I've got a little story for this one, and I tell that story, or this, not necessarily this kit, but this particular style of car. And I'll give you a little brief runaround with it. But if you're interested in hearing the story on the Wrecker and this GTX, go take a look at that video for me. The views only help, And if you haven't seen it, well, it'll be new to you. But anyways, this is actually Thursday. I always try to film these videos day before so I can get them on early Friday morning so you guys have a chance to look at it while you're taking a break. Anyway, so I started building this car Wednesday afternoon, and I finished it today, Thursday, probably around 2 o'clock p.m. Anyway, so here's what I did with it. This is and I'm going to try to hold this phone steady. This is the GTX. It's a replica of a car that when I was 15 years old, I worked my summer vacation to buy a car that looked just like this. Krager wheels, raised white letter tires, orange. It was a 440 with a 6-pack and a 4-speed. The guy happened to live in the same neighborhood, and I seen that car every day on my way home from school and every morning on the way to school, riding the bus. Well, like I said, I was 15 years old, and I had my learner's license, so I was already fired up for a car. And I talked to my dad, and I said, hey, there's a car down the street. I'd really love to buy this car. Can we go look at it? And of course, my dad being my dad the way he was, I wish you guys could have met him. He said, you've got money? I said, no, sir, I don't. So how are you planning on buying a car? On your looks? Well, no, that's not going to work for me either. He said, well, what are you planning? I said, well, summer vacation. Maybe I can go work with you and, make some money. He said, well, you know what? Let's go look at the car. So we went, looked at the car. And, I absolutely had a fit over it. I mean, seeing it up close, it wasn't nothing fancy. It was just a basic orange paint job. Let's see if I can get you over a little bit here. Basic, just a Mopar orange, but it had the Kragers, raised white letters, like I said, and it was a 440 with a 6-pack, 4-speed car, black interior, wood grain, basically factory, but kind of hot rodded, dual exhaust glass packs or whatever. Anyway, so we talked to the fella, or at least my dad did, and come to an agreement. We're going to buy the car, but the guy worked out a deal with us that he would hold the car. Now, my dad offered to pay for the car or half of the car. My dad's theory was simple. If the car is sitting in the yard, already paid for, then it's going to make me lazy and I won't work as hard. But if I knew there was something out of it, like we all do, well, then we work harder for what we want. Well, that was our plan. And the guy agreed. Told my dad, said, hey, the car's going to be here when you're ready. And like I said, my dad offered him half the money down. He said, no, I'd rather have it all at one time. If we could just do it that way, he said, I don't mind hanging on to the car. My dad said, well, look, it's going to be a couple of months. You know, he's going to work for it. And he said, I understand completely. He said, I would do my son the same way. He said, okay. So they shook hands, my dad and the fellow that owned the car shook hands, and off we went. I was excited. I was fired up. Went to work every single day. And the job my dad had at the time, he worked for a company that installed septic tanks and field lines in new homes, subdivisions. So basically we were back to back to back, house to house to house. And I got paid X amount of dollars per job. So I got as many jobs as I could get, you know. I was there, whether it was my dad running the backhoe or the fellow that I worked with, another guy, Robert. Either way, I was in. And longer story short, I had the money. I had half the money ready to go. It was a Friday. I didn't even cash any of the checks. Every Friday, I never cashed any of the checks. I just let my dad hang on to them. And we went to First National Bank here in town, which we've always lived here in town, but we live just a little bit on the outside of town, which is where the car was located, maybe about a quarter of a mile from our home. Anyway, so cashed the checks, and my dad said, here, you want to hold the money? And I'm like, nope. And he started laughing. He said, well, it ain't like you're going to be able to buy anything while you're in the truck. I said, no, just hold on to it. I just want to get the car. I was excited. You know, I wanted to get the car. So we take off that way. Of course, it's on our way home regardless. And there was a spot in the road. There was a lake on each side. We called the Twin Lakes. As we're coming across the railroad track, down the hill, around the curve, to the Twin Lakes, the guy lived on the other side of the Twin Lakes. We pass a truck and a trailer with the car on the back of it. The car that I'd been working for my summer vacation to buy, that my dad, that fella, shook hands, had an agreement on. Everything was understood. The guy said, car will be here when you're ready for it. There's no need to, he said, I'll put it right back in the garage. There's no reason to worry about it. It's your car. When you come to get it, it'll be here. However, like I said, my dad told him it'd be a couple of months. And it wasn't. It's about a month, maybe 3 weeks. And I had my half of the money, because my deal with my dad was, if you show me that you'll work hard, you'll earn half the money, then I'll put in the other half. I'll help you buy that car. Now, of course, I was 15 years old. There was no way I was going to be able to drive it on my own, not at that point in time. But I knew my dad would be excited to, ride with me, though he'd probably be scared. I'd never driven a 4-speed or a stick shift for that matter. But anyways, I was excited. So as we come down the hill, we passed a truck and a trailer with the car on the back. That's where everything the worst sick feeling I could possibly get in my stomach. And I'm sure my dad had that same feeling. We pulled into the fella's yard. My dad said, stay in the truck, boy. He got out. And of course, the conversation started out simple. I heard the guy tell my dad that, hey, I needed the money. And that's when my dad he wasn't a violent guy by no means. My dad really never got too excited about anything. But he understood that I had worked for a 15-year-old harder than anybody else on the cruise so I could get this car. And he was trying to teach me something, And all he was going to be able to teach me that day was, you can work hard for it, doesn't mean you're going to get it. And that's still true to this day. I mean, you have goals for certain things, something else comes up, something else happens, whatever. But either way, I didn't get the car. The guy didn't get beat up. My dad was awful angry, and he had a few simple choice words. But he explained to the guy that, we made an agreement. We shook hands. And at the time, and it still stands for me, shake hands with someone, that means something, uh, like it used to. Doesn't really mean that much nowadays to a lot of people, but to me, it still means something. We shake hands, we come to an agreement. It's a done deal. But anyways, that was my 15-year-old summer vacation horror story for Halloween there. But yeah, the Great Pumpkin, the 69 Plymouth GTX, that's the one that got away. And later on in life, my dad had taken over a different service station, and I'd worked for him when I was in high school, uh, after school, that sort of thing. I think I mentioned that once before. That car used to come in because it was a full service gas station. And that car would come in, and the guy that owned it, his name was Chris, he had beat that car to death. Like I said, it had a 440 with a six-pack under the hood. He blew that engine up, ended up putting a 318 in it. The rims were rusting, or he wasn't cleaning the car very well. The car was just damaged and dirty. I mean, he just abused that car. So I'd always planned, to build a replica of that car because it's, I guess you'd say, kind of my childhood history of the one that got away. But anyways, enough of that story. Now to the actual model, and sorry about the shaky phone, but so like I said, I built it like I remember it. It was wood grain interior, black. I don't know if you can see this or not, but yeah, it does this to me every time. But it has a Hearst T-shirt in the back seat. Paint job is out of a spray can, Duplicolor, no clear coat, just a single stage. I did put a Georgia tag plate on it, and these wheels and tires, the BF Goodrich Radial TAs, and the rims, they are from Iceman Collections. And on the front, I'm sure you guys have noticed this, that tag is upside down, but that's the thing. And I think I mentioned this once before on another model. Growing up around here, 96 Rock, Atlanta 96 Rock was the radio station, and guys at that time, they'd buy this 96 Rock tag at, wherever you could buy records and tapes, and put them on the front of the car upside down. So it had to be, I didn't do a lot of details with the engine. I did not wire it. I just basically built it out of the box. And yeah, I didn't spend a lot of time on detailing that. Mainly because I glued the engine in not thinking. And by the time I realized what I had done, it was too late to get it back out. So I couldn't really wire up the car or the engine. But I may be able to go back in there later on and, maybe add some wires to make it look more or less like it's wired up. But it's actually a different orange than the actual body. Didn't want them matching, so I wanted a different color orange on the engine. But anyway, this is basically just stock right out of the box, other than the wheels and tires. That's it. That's all I changed on the car. Really nice kit. Went together really well. No issues that I could find whatsoever. Paint job's not perfect, but there again, the car didn't have a perfect paint job. It wasn't a high gloss show finish. It was just probably one of those backyard paint jobs, to be honest with you. I bet if I could see it again today, I'd go, oh, man, that paint's rough. But to a 15-year-old kid, that's the car. That's the car you want. So, unfortunately, it didn't work. Went through, detailed all the marker lights and such with, actually, I used the candy paint to go over, like you see the marker lights here, to go over the lens color, the orange, and then the red in the back. Orange up front here. Like I said, red on the side marker light there. Tail lights are, of course, already red. But yeah, anyways, so this is This is the one I built in 2 days, and it probably looks it to you. It doesn't look like a really, well, it's a good looking car, but it's not an impressive paint job. But it suits the purpose of exactly what I wanted the car to be when I finished it. Um, and like I said, there was no real modifications to the car. Sorry about that. No real modifications to the car, and yeah, basically a box stock 69 Plymouth GTX AMT kit. Mirror came with it. Antenna or aerial, it did not. That was something from the parts box. But it has, like I said, it has the wood grain interior, wood grain dash, wood grain, yeah, console, door panels, all that stuff is wood grain. I know you probably can't see that too well, but either way, that's what I built yesterday and today, being Thursday to me, Friday to you. Um, and another, and I know a lot of you guys aren't going to really care to see this, but this was the other model kit that I built. My daughter picked this up for me, and sorry about the shaky phone again, but my daughter picked this up for me for my birthday, so I thought I'd build it. But this is the Flash Gordon model kit. That's the little alien that comes with it, and this is the Flash Gordon. I built this the beginning of the week, and get him spun around here. I decided, it came white plastic, but I decided, just to prime it, get a little shadow, and paint everything white again. But like I said, I love the space kits. I'm into that stuff. The globe. This is something you guys might be interested in knowing if you don't already know about this particular glue. But when I put the globe together, because it's, as you see, 2-piece, I used the UV clear. It's like a UV glue that cures with the UV light. I'm sure you guys understand what I'm saying, but that's what I used to put this globe together, so it wouldn't fog up. But anyways, just wanted to show you what I got accomplished today. The little alien, he's got the gun on. But yeah, so that's my week and my story. A little sad story, but taught me a lesson. Taught me never work for nothing. You want anything, go steal it. No, that's the wrong story. Nope, it means work hard regardless of the outcome. At least you sleep good at night. So anyways, you guys be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for tuning in and listening to my story, and checking out the models. And I appreciate you guys, really. Now, I don't know if I'm going to make a video next week. So some of you guys who've already tuned out of this, my daughter asked me to build a closet in her home while they're on the road. So I may be doing that. So I won't have time to build a kit. So, but we'll see. You never know. Waiting on a set of double mirror doors to come in. So yeah, I do a little carpentry sometimes. I'm not a carpenter, but I know my way around a saw and a screw gun and a hammer and nail. But anyways, that's probably what I'm going to be doing next week. I don't know. Meanwhile, you guys stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. And like I said, I really appreciate you for being here. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Meanwhile, I'll catch you on the next one. Later.